So now that we've gone over the definition of statistics, which use the word data quite a bit, we should really define what data is. So by definition, data is the collection of observations. So remember, I'll let you pause. And now that you're back from writing that down, in terms of the collection of observations, we know it's just kind of the information that we've gathered, and we get information. It's always going to be coming from some sort of predefined population, and so to define population, it's everything possible to choose from. So we've determined that we're going to study something, and we'll do some examples down below and set that as our population. Whenever it comes to a population, there's two types of information you can get from a population. The first is called census data, and this is data from the whole population. So keep in mind the word census can often be confused with the term census, that is the study conducted every 10 years by the government, because they're trying to get information from the whole population. But for us, it's whatever population we've defined, that if we get everybody inside that population or every item in that population, that's our census. If you're not able to get a census, then the information you get is from a sample, and this is data from a subset of the population. So somehow you've gotten 99 out of the 100 people in your sample, in your population, and so you're missing one person and it's a sample, or maybe you just got 10. We tend not to use the word sample for one. There's 100 people and we asked one person some information and we say, oh, we got our sample data. But, it depends on what you're studying and what's possible. So when it comes to sample data, keep in mind that you need to use some sort of random selection item or process, and we'll go into some other types of random items in the upcoming pages. But first, let's go ahead and look at the definition of census and sample. So I'm going to do two examples. In my first example, my first population, I've defined the whole school. All of LBCC is our population. So if I was going to take census items, then I would study all the students at this school. I'd have to get all of LBCC. Whereas if I wanted to take a sample from this population, I might just take all the students from this class, because that doesn't include everybody at the school. Now, one thing I want to point out is in both cases, I use the word all. So even in a sample, you can see the word all just because of the way it was used in the sentence. So don't think all means that you have a census. But keep in mind, the census and sample are relative to your population. Consider the second problem. Consider a different population where I've defined the population to be everybody in our class. Then a census would be all the students in this class. Notice, all the students in this class could be a census or a sample. It really just depends on what your population is. But let's go back to this second example. I've defined our class to be the population. The census was everybody. But for a sample, this time I just said some of the students in the first row. I didn't need to say all of the students to fit the other one. But because I'm assuming there's more than one row in this class, then if I just take some of the students in the first row, I have a sample.